Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode on Host No More, helping you weed out your psychic parasites. So today's topic will be on how the narcissists use gaslighting as a reset button for the relationship so that they can regrow the connection or the bond and condition us for yet another abuse. I also want to touch on the subject of role playing, where the narcissists and their followers or members of their cult turn our life into a play or a reality TV production, each of them assuming different characters at a time to try to dictate our every move, thought process, and decisions. I believe that understanding these strategies are very important because they can be so dangerous. They can make us live in a nightmare where everything is so real that we never question what we are experiencing or stop to think that maybe we are not the problems. So I encourage you to speak up about your own experience if you ever have been gaslighted by someone, because it can really help restore your inner equilibrium by consolidating the truth and your own perception of reality. You can do this by commenting below, or you can also speak to a therapist, a professional, a life coach, or a counselor about it. You can also subscribe to my channel so that I can help guide you in your journey towards inner peace and wisdom. I post videos every week on understanding narcissism, how to heal from the abuse, and how to develop an immunity to it. Also, check out in the description below links to my Patreon page for more videos on surviving narcissistic abuse through spiritual guidance, and my Facebook page where I share quotes and other thought-provoking snippets on narcissism, psychopathy, mental health security, and self-care. I also have a Quora profile where you can find my answers to various questions on how to leave the narcissist's prison and stay free. So without further ado, let's start. I want to first talk about the cycle of abuse that the narcissist has kept us trapped in and make it close to impossible for us to become aware of. This is exactly like a sleep terror, which is an unconscious nightmare, which is a nightmare that we do not ever recall having. We feel our energies being drained and our spirits being damaged, but we have no idea what caused it. The narcissist does this through a very carefully constructed and calculated process. The first step is to draw you in with their charm and charisma to form a bond with you. Then they will continue building the relationship until you trust them enough to let your guards down, to find excuses for their faults and their bad behavior. That is when they'll execute the heavy blow of abuse. After that, they'll proceed to delete and reinstall your memories and perception by building powerful illusions to pull you back in. For example, they'll appeal to your values or plead for your forgiveness, display false humanity, or come up with apparently sound reason to justify their actions. Then once you regain complete trust in them, they will claim their supply and strike at you all over again. Before we continue, I want to take a closer look at gaslighting and some of the techniques employed. So healthyplace.com defines gaslighting as a form of emotional abuse where the abuser manipulates situations repeatedly to trick the victim into distrusting his or her own memory and perceptions. So the narcissist will make you question your own sanity and your own reality, your coping mechanisms, your instincts and intuition, your belief system and emotional functioning. They can do this by feigning a lack of understanding or acting like your concerns are not valid, that you're not making sense. Sometimes they can even make you feel like you are the one who did them wrong, or lie by saying that you shouldn't look at things that way because they have no intention to cause you harm. Another gaslighting tactic the narcissist will use is faking empathy or remorse to rebuild your trust in them. They will convince you that there is still good in them, that they will change for the better, that they have seen the error of their ways. They will let you see what you want to see and give you just the right response that you find appropriate for the situation. They will even give you what you have been looking for in the relationship from the very beginning, so that you will believe that there is still hope for it all to work out. Coming back to the cycle of abuse, the questions arise: how does the narcissist keep their victims in this perpetual cycle? How is it possible for the victims to stay ignorant of the abuser's tactics or intent, cycle after cycle of abuse? To answer these questions, we need to observe the readings on our trust meter over a full cycle of the abuse. As we already know, the narcissist delivers their abuse when we trust them most. Immediately after, they move on to damage control, to manage our trust levels and prevent it from falling below the threshold of realization. Then they will start feeding us, selling themselves to us, appealing to us, and providing for us until our loyalty and faith in them is fully replenished, fit for yet another round of abuse. While building our trust, once they have managed to stabilize our trauma or shock resulting from their drastic change of heart or personality, post-damage control or maybe even earlier, they are already planning their next attack, making sure that you don't put two and two together or piece all of the information and abuse together and form an inference about their true nature, their true intentions or agenda. To do this, they will arrange the perfect timing for the abuse, allowing enough irregularity or space between the abuse to mask from their target the periodic nature of their attack. Another way to blind their targets from the truth is through subtlety in their abuse. For example, they can make use of humor, silence, absence, or lack of support as torture devices for their unsuspecting prey. Finally, they can also adopt the role-playing tactic to keep us unconscious of our position as their captive. They team up with people you have never met before or people you thought you could trust and orchestrate elaborate scenarios or situations so they can strike at you from behind the veil of society or the community at large. I will talk more about role-playing in part 2. One can also wonder why the narcissist wants to keep us imprisoned in this endless torment. This can be explained through their desire for absolute control and ownership over our entire being. They love to play God and see us as their possessions. They are lifeless dummies, they are dolls or puppets. They are bitter people that thrive through the destruction of lives and the total annihilation of any individuality separate from them. Keeping us trapped in the abuse cycle is also their sick way of simulating unconditional love, by manipulating us to continue trusting and loving them and giving them our heart and soul, despite the horrendous and gut-wrenching emotional and mental purgatory that they have put us through. So here are some of the things that we can do in order to wake up to their prison and escape the abuse cycle. Number 1 is to take some time off from the people that are constantly around you or people you spend a lot of time with and re-evaluate your impression of them. Number 2 is to look for unnatural behavior and stop ignoring or dismissing them. For example, someone might be too nice to you for no apparent reason, or they might have a sudden change in personality or mood. They might even be following you or stalking you and be constantly obsessed with knowing details of your personal life. Number 3 is to listen to your gut, your inner voice, and your physical reflexes. For example, on one occasion, my narcissist took the liberty to help me install a program on my computer, which I wanted to try and do for myself. As he approached me, I could feel my senses becoming extra alert, like my internal alarm was being set off. I can feel myself walking on eggshells as he made me answer his assessments of my competence. Later, I realized that he was holding back the information, which I didn't even ask for, so that he can pressure me into feeling incompetent. Finally, we need to remove any unreasonable bias. There should be no free passes for ill treatment. There are just some lines that can't be crossed, not by anyone. We need to remember not to confuse gratitude with enslavement. No one has a right to hurt others through humiliation, aggression, or belittling. Don't look past their malicious behavior because of their sweet words. We need to also investigate whether someone is deliberately repeating their mistakes or misdemeanor after being confronted about it over and over again. And that concludes this episode. Remember to subscribe and ring the bell so you get updated about any posts as soon as I publish them. Like and share this video if you think it was helpful, and comment below if you want to share any of your related experience or views, or if you have any questions. Also, don't forget to take a look at my Patreon site for more video content, my Facebook page for regular posts on narcissism, and my Quora profile for questions and answers regarding narcissistic abuse recovery and immunity. I'll attach the links to these pages below. Stay mindful, peaceful, and awake, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.
Saw you, you saw me back and I felt new. Please don't be shy, I know that you feel like me too. Don't be afraid. Give me your love, baby, give me your hand now. And I just wanna go with you anywhere. I feel like I'm not awake. I wish you could take me away, but now that we're having a day. Give me love, give me up, give me all you can. I feel like I'm not awake. I wish you could take me